of the Plymouth Board of Education to order at 7 o'clock p.m. Stand for the pledge. The Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Do I have that motion? By Mr. Foote. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Michelle Lucian. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item number 3 on the agenda, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of the Plymouth Board of Education for September 14th, 2022. Do I have that motion? Mr. Foote, do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Someone's going to have to fill in for Greg.
I'll
All
second.
right.
I'll second.
What?
Cindy, second.
Cindy, all right, Ms. Florenciani. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item number 4 on the agenda, student representatives. We'll start with Robert.
Hello, I'm here to talk about sports at Terryville High School. The boys and girls soccer teams are both doing very well. They're both 6 and 5. The boys had a nice win against Wamogo at the stadium up in Hartford. The 18th is their senior night and their Under the Lights game. And for the girls, the 20th is their senior night and the Under the Lights game for them. Golf is going well. Cross country has 2 meets left, the Berkshire League Championship and States, and volleyball is doing well too.
Excellent. Thank
And
you.
that's it.
How are the fields? The soccer fields, did anybody comment?
No comment.
No comment? All right, good. All right, Anna?
I'm talking about the senior class. So recently we had our seniors had a chance to do college planning night. So they had a chance to go with their parents and the counselors to plan on how to fill out their applications and FAFSA. We also took the time today to have a class meeting, and we talked about our upcoming fundraisers. We also talked about our prom and class dues. And we also took the time today to go through our applications through Common App and Naviance, where we were able to choose some colleges and look at our resume and GPA.
Emily?
So I'm just going to talk about like general school activities. So the band has had 3 successful performances recently that they participate in annually as almost like an annual fall kickoff. They did the Mum Parade on September 25th, the Big E performance on September 28th, and UMass Band Day on October 8th. And I would say that all of those were successful. And today, the underclassmen took the PSATs. And I would say that ran smoothly. And coming up, our pep club has a Spirit Week and pep rally. The Spirit Week will be the 24th to the 28th, and the 28th will be the pep rally. We also have a homecoming coming up, which is done by our Leo Club on November 4th. And the Plymouth Block Party had 35 volunteers, student volunteers. So that was successful, I would say.
Excellent, that's good. Thank you. Any questions or comments for our student representatives? Thank you very much. Item number 5 on the agenda is public comment. If there's any public comment, please come up, state your name and address for the record. Please sign in at the podium. And remember, it's a 3-minute time limit.
Can we get 6 if there's 2 of us together? I'm kidding.
I'm the timekeeper, so yeah.
There is nothing to sign in with. So, for the record, my name is Nicole McWilliams. I reside at 34 Overlook Terrace. I'm advising and producing the Terryville High School Club's rendition of Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. With me today, I have Taryn McWilliams, a senior at Terryville High School, and she is also going to be one of our main characters in our production. So we've come tonight to represent the Drama Club and to formally invite the Board of Education for our free preview show on Thursday, November 17th at 6 p.m. We are offering this compensated preview opportunity exclusively to educators district-wide to show our appreciation for all that you do.
Hi, as stated, my name is Taryn. Our rendition of Agatha Christie's story is being directed by Ms. Mastracchio, who's also an advisor alongside Ms. Williams. We're excited to announce that this will be our first production in our Black Box Theater setting. We hope to create an immersive and intimate experience for our typically smaller fall shows and to embellish our creative potential.
As we enter a new era for the Drama Club, we'd like to embark on an initiative to further engage Plymouth Board of Education employees in our productions, performances, and events. Seeing your faces in the audience gives our cast and crew the motivation and confidence they need to make it through an entire week of show. So your support really does make all the difference.
That being said, we left you each an invitation with a QR code. Simply scan the QR code to RSVP, show up for the performance, and we will handle the rest of it. Tickets officially go on sale October 14th at thsbooktix.com. We hope to share this. We hope you share this information with friends and family. It'll also be when we are going to announce our spring musical. Thank you so much for your time. We hope to see you all there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know The Wizard of Oz was a huge hit. I'm excited to see this. And technology, QR codes. That's good stuff. I know the student reps are over there laughing at us. That's the black box in the bottom, Mr. Foot, with the lines. Yes. Yeah,
Better as a puzzle.
Yeah, me too.
a puzzle. All right. Is there any other public comment? All right. Yeah. If the students would like to leave at this time, you can. You don't have to. You're welcome to stay, but if you have homework or other things that need to be done, you can leave at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too, thank you. All right. Item number 6 on the agenda, we have a presentation by Mrs. Pezza, Director of Curriculum Instruction, about the Smarter Balance Assessment Consortium. Floor is yours.
Thank you. So tonight I'm just going to give a brief overview of the testing scores for last year, and actually for the last few years to kind of give you context. I'm going to give you the whole cohort set. But this just will be an opportunity for you to see sort of where we're at, you know, a year or so after the pandemic as we start to kind of rebuild and bring our programs back up to the levels they were before this whole thing happened. So the first is English Language Arts, and I have them listed as cohort groups. So you can see the first line is the current 5th grade, and then we have the 6th, the current 7th, 8th, and 9th. And each of their average, or rather percentage of students that got 3s and 4s for each of the years that they took the test. You'll notice that there's a year missing. The 1920 school year isn't there because we didn't test that year because everything was closed down from the pandemic. But this is the percentage of students that are getting 3s and 4s in each of those given years. And as you can see, for some of the groups, they are somewhat consistent with what they were last year and somewhat consistent with what they were prior to the pandemic. And for other groups, they've dropped because of the pandemic, and part of our job over the next few years is to see if we can get them sort of back up to where they were. The next slide is the math scores. Same thing, percentage of students with either a 3 or a 4. And you can see that just with the ELA scores, some of them are fairly consistent and some of them have dropped considerably. And so again, part of what we're going to be working on is trying to get them back up to where they were. And science, we don't really have longitudinal scores for because the science test is only given once every 3 years. So these are just the scores from last year, this percentage of students that are getting a 3 or a 4 on the science test. In terms of moving forward, we have started and or are planning a variety of things to help bring those scores back up to where they need to be. The first of which is we're really looking at our intervention program. We have started to rearrange some of the parts of the intervention program to better serve our students. The first of which is We have reassigned some of the staff members that are working in the intervention program to work with different groups of kids. Specifically, we're making sure that our certified staff members are working with our students who are the lowest performing students, and that our tutors are working sort of more with our students who are a little bit closer to grade level, so that our most qualified staff members are working with our students that have the most difficulty. The other thing that we've done is we replaced the data warehouse that the district uses, which was EduClimber, and replaced it with a program called Performance Matters. And Performance Matters is going to allow us to start to move the intervention plans to an online platform that will be accessible to any staff member who works with the child. One of the problems that we have noticed over the last few years is that the current use of paper tracking on some of this stuff has a tendency to go astray, especially when the kids move from building to building. And this way, their intervention information will follow them as they move from school to school, and we won't have to worry about trying to track down papers that have somehow disappeared over the move from one building to the next. And in doing that, it's actually been a really great opportunity, because as we start to load this all up into Performance Matters, one of the things that we're really talking about is what interventions are we using and how are we progress monitoring them, and making better decisions, because some of the stuff that we have is rather old. And so we're starting to look at how old some of the programs are and whether or not they really need to be replaced because they are no longer current with what research says is best practice. As many of you who were here last year know, we bought a new math program. We are in the second month of implementing it, so we're still kind of in that beginning process. But as time goes by and people get more familiar with it, it's getting a little bit easier and a little bit less stressful. And we're hoping that we can continue that trend as we go through the rest of the year. A new program usually takes between 2 to 3 years to fully implement, so we may not necessarily see the results of that this year or next year, but I'm hoping that the following year we'll begin to see some of the benefits of the new program. The other thing that we've done is we have started formalizing the coaching cycles and providing training to both the administrators and the coaches on how to best support one another in each of those roles. So when working with teachers to develop their ability to teach like the new curriculum, the administrator and the coach each has its own unique role in that process. And what we're working on is helping both groups understand what their individual roles are, but also then what their combined roles are and how do they work together to kind of get the best bang for their buck. We've been working with reading professional development for the last 2 years. Last year, for the secondary teachers, we had a very, very strong focus on helping them understand the reading levels that their students were at and how that related to the materials they were using in class with the students. This year, we're doing a very heavy focus on vocabulary development and how to help students build vocabulary across grades 6 through 12. At the elementary school level, we've been doing a lot of work with phonics, writing, and also engagement for reading and helping kids pick books that will be fun and exciting for them to kind of help motivate them to read more. We're working on common planning time built into the schedule, which goes back to the coaching cycle one, in the sense that that common planning time is time with the coach so that they can co-plan together and the coach can support the teachers in implementing both the new math program and some of the new stuff that's coming out with reading. We're working on vertically aligning the curriculum, especially around the portrait of the graduate, and tightening up the focus at each grade level so that we're not trying to cover 100 things in a very short period of time. And then we've also, at the elementary level, expanded the classroom libraries, which goes back to that reading engagement piece, so that the students have more options to pick from and maybe some more books that are high interest books for that individual child so that they'll be more motivated to read more.
So like anything else, I mean, you see the data and the scores up there, and that's data and information. And some of you are teachers or parents, and you see your child score. The big question is, what's the plan to move forward? And so this last slide is the most important slide, because you're starting to see the pieces of our puzzle really kind of come together, and it's going to take time. We're making some seismic changes, and I mean, some of the best examples I can give you with this is, our interventionists and coaches have never sat in the same room until last Friday, when Kathleen and I held a meeting with them for the first time together to talk about, what are we doing and what do our programs look like and how do we hand kids off from Plymouth Center to Fisher to Eli? And then what are we doing here at the high school? And so those conversations with the administration are happening not in silos, they're happening as a group, and we're looking at the whole organization. But this plan, kind of, if you're a teacher that is working on goals, and you might not have hit your goal, but you worked on a plan and it's a clear plan for improvement, this is what counts and this is how we move forward. So.
Any questions?
It takes 4 years roughly, you're saying, to get this thing rolling?
3.
Oh, mackerel. Well, you can't be impatient like me, huh? Well, it is what it is, right?
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing in a couple of years those numbers up. Item number 7 on the agenda, superintendent's update. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Superintendent Mr. Falcone.
Good evening, everyone. I really have 3 things to share with you this evening. The first is that on September 29th, the State Department of Education approved 6 reading programs for students in grades kindergarten through grade 3. And so what that means for us and all of the public schools across Connecticut is that starting on July 1st, all local boards of education need to select and implement a reading program from the state list. The bad news is that we don't use any of those 6 programs, reading programs from the state list. The good news is we're in good company. There was a survey sent out to all the superintendents, and 122 superintendents responded to the survey, and the survey basically asked one question: do you use any of these programs? And only 12 superintendents out of the 122 responded yes. So that means 110 of the 122 superintendents in towns that they surveyed do not use any of the 6 reading programs that are on the state-approved list. So with that, we are in good company. Between the cost, the training, the time, and the stress of implementing a new program, it's a pretty big lift. This is not something that happens overnight. This takes time. As the example with the math program and the 3-year implementation rollout. And we are rolling out a new math program at this time. So speaking with Kathleen, Kim, and Angie, our elementary principals, we feel it's in the best interest of our district to fill out a waiver and to push off the unfunded mandate that's been put on all of our districts at this time, and that we start to adjust to one of those 6 reading programs when we feel it's appropriate and when we can. We have a very good reading program that covers all the different areas of reading. There's a lot of different areas with reading. And what the state has basically done is they pulled the most popular one and not put it on their list. And that's why 110 school districts out of the 122 are not falling in line. So based on the feedback I've received from the Litchfield superintendents and other superintendents in the state, a number of towns are going to be filling out that waiver. And we're not even talking about the cost and the expense of shifting over as well. So I wanted you to be aware of that when you hear the science of reading and some of the determinations that have been made by the state. We plan on filling out that waiver. As you recall, last year the board approved a switch from the CADE board policies to the Shipman board policies. And come to find out, every September, Shipman sends up a revised version of the policies. I didn't know that. And last year being my first year being the superintendent and us adopting the policies in November. So I did a lot of work over the summer, and then this binder in front of you is a copy of some of the revised policies that Shipman has sent. There are actually 12 policies that have been revised. Believe it or not, this binder has 12 policies in there. But I wanted to meet Cindy's request And Cindy, I don't know if you requested this, but you asked for the cross-outs and the edits. So in here you have 12 revised shipment policies. The first copy will be our current policy. The second one would be our cross-outs and edits that they've made. The third one would be the revised copy we're hoping the board will approve at our next meeting. There are no new policies in here. Everything's been revised on legislation and adjustments made in the summer. So I want to make that just for clarification purposes. But that's what that binder is in front of you. So if you could take a look in that binder, read through those policies. Again, I know it's kind of intimidating, but when you actually look through the revisions, you'll see it's just a lot of language changes and legislative changes that have been made. And we're hoping in November to vote these in.
Okay, well, so I think what we should do, the best course of action was consider this with the revisions. The complete first read this month, and next month will be the second read on the ones we received and the revisions as a whole. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, finally, our bus company has done an amazing job, and they're doing the best to service our district, but they're hanging on by a thread at this point. They lost 3 drivers in the past few weeks. Also, COVID is running through the bus company as we speak. At this point, the only transportation that's been impacted or affected has been some athletic events that we have to go to. We're looking at outside companies to provide that transportation. But if it happens to impact our bus routes, we'll work with the bus company as we've done in the past, and we'll double up some of the routes to make sure all of our kids are getting picked up and brought to school. And I will communicate that to parents as and if we find out there are concerns. So I wanted to bring that to the board's attention as well.
I have a question. Is there a place that you know of that I can look up those 6 reading programs?
I can send them to you.
Perfect, thank you.
I don't believe Bristol uses them.
I know, I'm curious now. Need to know.
So we'll be getting changes then, like every September, correct?
Mr. Perugino, from what I understand, you knew this information
Yes,
and
I
didn't
did.
disclose that to
You should
me.
have asked.
Oh, I mean, I didn't know to ask the question.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah,
every September,
yeah.
you're most likely going to receive,
Right.
it could be October though, based
Yeah.
on when I receive it in September. I received this about mid-September, right around our last meeting. I received it, and then I'll do the revisions from September to October for you
Right.
guys to take a look at and make decisions on whether you want to move forward. So
Right.
it's going to be a yearly, annual thing.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a yearly thing, so.
And there are other policies that might come up or be revised throughout the year. Those I'll bring as we go to keep up to date with everything.
And the other thing I was gonna ask you, on these 6 reading things, doesn't the State Board of Education communicate with the superintendents in the state? Or they just go on their own and think they know it all?
You know the answer.
Well,
Well, I know the answer, but I like,
I think the best way I can answer that is we were told what the 6 reading programs were going to be, and then we were surveyed by the superintendent's group to see how many were using it. I just filled out another survey with regard to CT SEDS, which is the special ed program that the state moved over to. And now we're dealing with a number, not us, but school districts across the state are dealing with compliance issues not because of the people that work in the school districts, because of the actual program and information being lost. And so we just received another survey about that as well. So we're having a number of things that are being thrown at us at one time. And we're doing our best, but not everything is aligned.
well, it's about time we got to speak to some of our representatives, find out what's going on. Because they're the ones, it's a good time, election time, ask them some questions, see what they have any answers. This is getting ridiculous, it really is, for you guys. It's not, it's just no communication, come on, what the hell, you got all these computers and stuff, you can't communicate? Just beyond me, I don't know, but that's me.
That's all I have.
You're all set? All right, great. Okay. Item number 8 on the agenda, unfinished business. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the Board of Education meeting dates for the calendar year 2023 as presented. Do I have that motion?
So move.
by Mr. Perugino. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Ms. Lucian. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item number 9 on the agenda, board member committee reports, finance and operations. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to our business manager, Mr. Tencza.
Good evening, everybody. I'll start with an apology that you did not get all the reports this month in your packet on Friday, and they're in front of you today. I was fortunate enough to be out of the country and was not able to send the reports in. So with that said, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what I have in front of you, and then I'll open it up to questions. Regarding the 2021-22 encumbrances, we're now down to $37,413 outstanding to close out from last year's expenditures, and approximately 30,000 of that rides with two open POs. One of them is for the auditorium equipment that while we received the equipment and we haven't received the invoice yet, and then I won't close it out until the invoice comes in. And another one has something to do with the special ed department that Mel has still floating out there. But we're very close to being closed. I anticipate that we will have unspent encumbrances below $5,000 this year. And if you think last year we had 174,000, we did a good job of making sure that everything was accounted for much more closely. The projects for the sinking fund really has remained unchanged from last month to this month. Most of the projects are done. The scoreboards, the footings have been poured, the poles will be coming in, and the boards should be put up within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we're happy that that is going to happen. I was already notified that due to CIAC regulations, we're going to have to start talking about scoreboards again for the indoor courts because they're implementing next year a shot clock for basketball, which has to hang on above the hoop, which most schools don't have in anticipation. So we've already reached out to our folks to see what is that going to look like and what's it going to cost. I want to talk about food services. In the report, you'll see that when you combine up August and September with the SMART funds that we're getting from the state, we had a net profit of $27,600. So with free meals moving on the way they are, we've been able to continue to be a profitable organization by a significant number. That's no small number to sneeze at. I have some good news. In working with some of my colleagues and talking with the state, we should be able to provide free meals for the rest of this year. The way that we're going to do that is we are allowed to use last year's surplus to offset the revenues that come in. So we can, what is the word that I want? Not supplement the amount of money coming in. I'm not allowed to offset losses. So if we had a loss, I can't take money from there and make it zero. But I can subsidize the pricing on the top half, which is going to allow us to go free meals for all for the rest of this year, kind of using our own money, which by statute I have to use anyway. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. And then next year is when we'd have to take a look at having to re-implement 4Pay. So we're excited that that's going to happen, and that's good news for the program. We have had some labor issues here at the high school and at the middle school. We're down 2 employees. We have not been able to fill those roles, and it has had an impact on what we can provide to the students. At the middle school, our pizza line is only open on Fridays. Typically, that's something that was open every day, but because of the shortage, it's only been open on Fridays. Because meals are free right now, it's okay because there's not a lot of choice, if you will, for the students. And here at the high school, the deli line has been shut down. We haven't been able to do any premium sandwiches. Everything's pre-made. But again, we're really just pushing out the approved meals and not doing a whole lot of a la carte sales. But the good news is this, is working with Beth's team, We have identified 2 candidates in the transition program that are interested in the positions we have open, and they're going to apply for them, and we're going to hire them, and they will become some of our cafeteria employees. And it's just a great opportunity for us to coordinate and work with the kids. So at least these 2 students will be, when they move from the transition program, will have jobs here with us here at the district. So we're excited about being able to do that.
That's excellent.
The last thing I put in my report is I have some concern about breakfast here at the high school. With the schedule change, we have noticed a significant drop off in participation for breakfast. We're down about 60%. To put that in numbers, is last year we brought in about $50,000 worth of revenue for breakfast alone. At the current rates, we're going to come in somewhere around $22,000. So it's a $27,000 decrease. And we really don't have a solution for it at this point. I really just started to look at it. I've had a conversation with Mike Holtz. The academic schedule is more important than the breakfast time, but I feel I'm obligated to notify the board that is a significant decrease in revenue, and it would impact us long term. So it is something that I think we have to look at some point. Right now, we're okay because it's all free and participation is up. But when we're doing 4 pay meals, participation is going to drop, and that's going to hurt us even more.
So it's because of the schedule, or is it because of the bagels?
No, right now, from what the only thing that has changed is the schedule changed. Right, so breakfast is at a different time now, and that's the only thing I've seen. But again, I'm notifying you of the change, but I am looking at, talking with Brian and with Mike on what we can do perhaps moving forward.
All right.
So, the health insurance transition has taken place, and I got to tell you, it's gone significantly smoother than I anticipated. And I do want to put a shout out to Rebecca Sova, who kind of spearheaded and took the lead on all of the employee communication, and she did a phenomenal job. And we are up and running with very, very few issues. So that has already taken place. Happy about that. The project update, there's still a few projects that have some minor completion to do. Specifically at Fisher, we're out of hooks, backpack hooks. We have them they're on back order. When we get them, we'll put those back up. But hopefully at some point we'll be able to walk the buildings with you all and show you what we've been able to do. And I know that Brian and I are scheduling a walkthrough of all the buildings to kind of put a punch list together to make sure that all the kind of small little odds and ends get addressed and they're not just forgotten about. And then last but not least is budget review and creation of next year's budget is already underway. So I am reviewing all of the budget at this point. We have enough weeks of expenses coming through that now I can really see how things are trending. I can make the appropriate transfers between, particularly between salary lines where now I know everything is aligned. We're not moving people around anymore. We're not changing. A lot of what Kathleen talked about impacted how the budget lines look right now because we moved things into different places. We had them in one place when we created the budget. Things had changed between now and September. And the templates for next year's budget are already underway. I'm hoping to have all of the salaries filled in along with some of the fixed costs so that when we release the budget templates to the administrators in early November, they'll already have a really good picture of what that's going to look like. So we're well on our way already.
You talked to me about the sidewalk project.
Thank you all for reminding me. The sidewalk project, if you remember, we worked an agreement with the town where we were going to return our unspent encumbrances from last year, roughly $174,000 back to the town, and they in turn would coordinate having the sidewalks redone. And as you know, that has been completed. We overran the original estimates by $10,832.29. everybody, I think, knew that we probably were gonna overrun by somewhat. Frankly, I'm surprised it's only by approximately $11,000. I know the original estimate came in at over 300,000, and through revisions of the plan, we were able to get it into an affordable place. So my recommendation to the board at this point is to make a motion to go back to the Board of Finance. I'm sure they are expecting this, to ask for the $10,832.29 to come from our sinking fund to cover the overage for the project, and that would close this out.
So with that said, any questions on that? Or-
What led to the overage? Was it adding?
We didn't add anything, it's just, in a typical construction format, right, is materials cost this when you quote it, and with the current economy the way it is, it ran over. We actually scaled back the project considerably. And when the final numbers came in, we ran a bit over.
The amount of work that was done was incredible.
It's a crapshoot. That's what it is. It really is. It's, you know, my wife deals with it every day.
Yeah.
Cement goes up. You
Yeah, literally by the day.
$11,000 roughly on a $174,000 project is pretty good.
That's not bad at all.
Well, I think what Matt said too, I mean, original price was much higher than that, and it was
Yeah.
kind of working to bring
Yeah.
it down as far as we
Yeah.
could.
So with that said, I'd like to entertain a motion to go to the Board of Finance and ask for the $10,832.29 to be used to offset the overages from the project.
So moved.
By Mr. Perugino. Do I have a second on that
Second.
motion? All right, by Lou Zabushka, sorry. He needs a turn. All right, any discussion?
I just have questions for Matt.
On this motion?
No,
or
no,
in
no,
general?
no, I'm
Okay,
all
so
done
finish
with
this.
All right, let's get the motion. All in favor?
Oh, aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. All right, Mr. Perugino.
Fire away.
On the scoreboard, I was reading the CIA, is it CIAC or something, whatever it is? That 30-second clock, you're gonna need an employee running that clock. You can't have a student.
I don't know that, I mean, I don't know that would be
Yeah,
would be something we discussed with the AD, but
the students can't run the clock right now either. Joe Stefanski is the actual one that runs the clock for our basketball staff.
Yeah.
So I think he would run, I don't know if he could run both clocks or we need another game operator to run that. Again, when we talk about unfunded mandates, I mean, that's one that's snuck in there, if you think about it. Because, you know, it's what we have to do and we'll do it,
Yeah.
but there's a cost for us.
Yeah, and I read that in the paper, and then I went and checked online about it, and it said, yeah, you can't be a student doing it, so, and Joe's run it for,
Oh,
since,
well, it's about 60 years.
God came on.
About 60 years now, yeah.
But that was one of his things when he retired, he wanted to make sure that he could run that scoreboard. Fine.
I had Joe as a teacher when I was in high school.
Did you?
Yeah.
Joe and
That's how long he's been around.
Okay.
Yeah, don't not that face.
Wow.
Wow.
You did
I
well
have
with
a
most
couple-
students.
Couple other questions for you, Matt,
sure,
on the budget,
sure.
on page 7.
Page 7. Yes,
Page
sir.
7, on the, excuse me, on furnishings, $9,500 over? What happened?
Furnishings.
It says,
Yes, so we originally only scheduled for a desk here, where is this? This is at Eli.
Oh.
We bought, this is at Eli, so we originally only scheduled for a new desk for the principal at $1,050.
Yep.
But we have bought some additional things here to for the family consumer science room and
okay,
for
yeah.
the,
Check that room.
yeah,
okay, yeah, 'cause
There, so-
that's a whole new project, found consumer science, right?
right.
And you're gonna need chairs, okay. All right, that I understand, I can look at that. The other question on page 13, I got my notes on my thing here. I gotta cross them off as I do them. Outplacement non-public, $507,000.
So the net budget number here,
Yeah.
that 518,087 is net of the excess cost reimbursement grant that we should get from the state. That's the way the budget is set up.
Yep.
But we anticipate that we will get that much money or more from the state to offset that. But because of the way the budget is set up, the gross number is in my worksheet, but the net is what hits the this budget process until I receive dollars.
Okay.
So we'll receive part of excess cost at the end of this month, and that will go against this, and then we get the other part in April, and we should be in fine shape.
All right, okay. And then on page 14,
All right, you can't send this to Pat anymore.
well, when you're retired, you it's you got a lot of things to do.
I highlighted mine if that helps.
Tuition VOAG, $240,000. We pay tuition to send our students to VOAG.
Yes, we do.
Okay, a lot of people in town, when we're doing our budget, do not understand that we have to pay for that. They think it's free, and it's not.
Correct.
So when we do the budget this time, Mr. Chairman, let them know what it's gonna cost them, $240,000 to send the kids up there, so your children aren't going for free. But I didn't see it in here, I might have missed it, because I had a lot of things going, but what about the tech school? Do we, that's state though, right?
The tech schools, we do not pay tuition to, but
Okay.
we pay transportation
Transportation,
for.
okay, that's I figured.
Magnet schools, we pay transportation for,
Yeah.
and in some cases, pay a small tuition for them to go.
Yeah, because I know my kid went. Okay, that's good. I'm happy.
Next page.
No, I'm all done.
Cindy, you must have more
No,
highlights.
it's okay.
I have a lot more
Oh, so you-
highlighted, yeah.
You have all the ones that are negative, right?
We gotta get together soon, we'll have a hell of a time.
Most of them I knew the answers to, I just highlight them anyway.
Okay, so do you have anything for it?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
No,
Any
I just, he was just like looking at my
I
handwriting.
was getting ready. All right.
Yeah, I marked mine on my own. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Tencza? All right, thank you. You have the personnel report in your packet from Mr. Falcone. Item number 10 on the agenda, second public comment. Second call for public comment. Third call for public comment. All right, hearing none. Item number 11 on the agenda, board liaison reports. Mr. Perugino, Harry S. Fisher Elementary School.
Harry S. Fisher Elementary School. Today they had their school store. I couldn't make it, I had a doctor's appointment. But, and they're starting their PTA fundraiser, Nutmeg Spice begins. It's gonna end on November 4th. And then they're having the book fair, but it's only during school hours, and the book fair is on 10/17 to 10/21. And the next PTA meeting, or the new PTA meeting, this will be the first one this year, is on 10/18 at 7 o'clock. And then at 10/21, the trunk or treat rain day, 10/28. So whatever trunk and treat is special. So they're having that. And that's it for, oh, I went to the open house down there, and I tell you what, I was really, really impressed. The place was mobbed. And I talked to some of the parents, and I did get a chance to walk around to different rooms and so on. I didn't get to them all, but the school looked really nice. The teachers really looked upbeat. I was amazed when I went to the art room. I never saw so much stuff in my life down there. I mean, it's just amazing down there. But she's looking for some shelves, and I said, well, we'll see what we can do about that. But the school itself looked good. I talked to the principal, Mrs. Suffrage, and I told her anything she needed. She's got my personal email, not my cell phone, And she's got my home phone number. I said, if you need anything, Ange, please call me, and I'll come down and try to help out. So, that being said, the parents I talked to a few of the parents, they're happy. Everybody seemed happy down there. And the cars are backed up all the way down, almost down to the North Main Street. Christ, unreal.
Good. That's what we want, happy people.
Yeah, right? That's it for Fisher.
That's it. All right. Mrs. Zabushka, Plymouth Center?
They're participating now in the Fall Scholastic Book Fair, which runs from October 1st to the 21st. There's also a fundraiser for the Harvest Bakery. It starts on Friday, October 21st. It runs through November 4th. Pickup for that's November 22nd, before Thanksgiving. If any of you board members want to dress up, maybe you can get some candy from Trunk or Treat. Yeah. Which is October 21st, Friday. It's from 6 to 8. Spirit War sales going on November 9th. On October 31st, they're having a school-wide dress-up for Halloween, which is new. And that should be a lot of fun for all the students. All the grades participate. And they did very well with the Amazon wish list fundraiser, where equipment for the playground was purchased with the money raised. And that was things like a variety of balls, basketball, soccer balls, balls to play on the playground with, basketball hoop, a slide, wagons, T-ball stand, hula hoops, just a bunch of things for playground use. That's it that I have.
Sure. Excellent. Ms. Florenciani, Eli Terry Junior Middle School and the Booster Club.
For the middle school, they have on November 8th a fundraiser at Mulligan's. It's going to be from 12 to 7. It's their full menu, and they're donating a portion of the proceeds back to the school for the entire day. We also have skate night coming up. It's from 6 to 8 on October 25th. It's a town-wide skate night event, and the place is only open to us. So anyone is able to participate in that. It's $10 for non-skaters, $15 for skaters. We're still always looking for more members. We do have over 25 now. For the Booster Club, the soccer nights, the game under the lights is October 18th and the 20th, like that was said earlier. The last one that we did was in 2017, I think. Was it 2017?
It was around there.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so much fun. There was so much energy. The Booster Club will be selling concessions as well. It's open to the public, so if you guys want to go out and watch a good game and support the town, bring a blanket. It's always chilly. And they wanted to say thank you to everyone that supported them at the Terryville Fair with the lemonade booth. They had another great year, and it was a great turnout and a great fundraiser for them.
Ms. Clausa, Terryville High School.
Yes, the Terryville High School PTSA met about 3 weeks ago. They are formulating and moving forward with some fundraisers. Parents who have high school students, please be on the lookout for emails to explain all of those, and please get involved. Joining the PTSA would also be a great thing to get to know what it will be like for your senior. The sole purpose of the Terryville PTSA is to raise money for a safe grad night for our seniors, and they are moving forward with that, and probably will be having it at the same place it always is. At Advance, I'm sorry.
Nope, absolutely. Keep
At
going.
Advance, they had their yearly meeting on October 6th. I was unable to make it, so I will be looking forward to the November meeting.
Okay. All right. Item number 12 on the agenda, board comments. We'll start with Kelly.
I would also, if you wouldn't mind emailing those reading curriculums, so
I'm
I
gonna do
could
that.
take a look at those. And yeah, I don't know if I should be on a board so I could be giving reports. Is there one I should be attending a reporting on?
Well, we'll assign you something.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not good.
Okay. Mr. Foot?
Every year, the Lions International sponsors a peace poster contest, and our club has participated every year. It's at the junior high level. I haven't heard definitely this year how many children are participating, but I'm just bringing it forward that if we can get more of them, it would be kind of nice. The kids that win locally get a $50 prize. Every
My
kid
daughter
gets
has
like
won that
$10 for
before.
participating. And if they win worldwide, and it is worldwide, they get $2,500, get a chance to meet the international president of Lions clubs. And it's a wonderful thing, but we just would like to see more participation. I just thought I'd bring that forth.
Thank you, Mr. Foot. Ms. Colassa?
You don't have nothing to add.
Yeah. Ms. Lucian?
I'm very happy to see the online progress monitoring being started and common planning time. That's very important. I'm happy that we're starting that. So thank you for all your work, because I know it's a lot of work.
Ms. Francione?
The Terryville High School 40th reunion is coming up, and they reached out to me to get them the kangaroo to show up, and Nicole is gracious enough to help surprise everyone at their 40th anniversary with a kangaroo.
That's not a surprise anymore.
I
Where'd it go? Cindy?
mean, but so she did request that we possibly look into getting a new kangaroo, considering that our kangaroo logo has or our mascot image has changed, and that one is fairly old. So maybe we can surprise everyone with a new kangaroo for the basketball season.
We'll see.
I need another word other than surprise.
Wow.
The kangaroo is going to make an appearance.
All right.
We don't know which one yet.
Yeah. Mr. Perugino?
Yes, I was leaning, yeah, oh boy, here we go. I'm still concerned about the kangaroo. At the Eli Terry Junior Middle School, I was very interested when I was reading in their paper here. 8th grade algebra students have discussed how stocks work and what it means to buy stocks in a company. And that's good that they're in 8th grade, they're doing that. I wish they had that when I was in school. Because today, your pensions, Walt, you probably get a pension and I got a pension, but them days are gone. Unless you're in municipal or so on like that.
Even in municipal.
So, yeah, and it's starting to go to 401k. So that means you're gonna have to learn how to invest. And, the company will put in a percentage, but the actual employee or whoever it is gonna learn how to invest and learn what it means. So I'm glad they're starting it in 8th grade. And, like I said, I hope we can go through to high school, because this is what's gonna be. These guys get out of school, you get a job, and that's what to do, is 401ks, guys. That's all I have.
That is the plan, Mr. Perugino.
It is?
We're planning to put in a personal finance course here at the high school.
Oh, boy. Maybe I'll have to attend.
No, there is, but we
Yeah.
plan on expanding it. It is there, but it's optional, but we
Yeah.
want to push all of our students to experience it. So.
Yeah. Teach them how to write checks, too.
Nobody does.
They don't really
that
write checks
anymore.
anymore, though. That's not really a thing.
Well, it's not really a thing, but I know people that write checks. Right here.
Mrs. Bushka?
We get checks in the store, so
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
people still write them.
Yeah, I do. I don't trust the internet.
Yeah, I know. Do you have any comments, Mr. Zabuka?
No, fine.
Okay, all right. So, we saw the presentation tonight and we've had discussion. I think the school system and the district is heading in such a positive direction. It's good to see. I'd like to see those scores come up. We understand, COVID was an influence, but, it seems that the hard work is paying off and we're moving in a good direction. So I'm happy to see that. All right. The next regular meeting of the Plymouth Board of Education will be on Wednesday, November 9th, 2022 at 7 p.m. here in the cafeteria. Item number 14, I'd like to entertain a motion to enter into executive session at 7:54 PM to discuss personnel matters, memorandums of understanding related to A, the Plymouth School Administrators Association contract, the workday, and B, technical office and professional unit, and the International Union United Automobile and Aerospace and Agricultural Implement Workers of America, and UAW Local 376 insurance. Inviting in Mr. Tenza and Mr. Falcone. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
By Mr. Perugino. Do I have a second? By Mrs. Colassa. You scared me.
Gotta get one in
All
there.
right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We'll meet in the conference room as well. And we'll end the meeting.
Back out here?
No, we'll end the meeting in there.
Okay.
We have no public comment. No public.
Tomorrow.